We have found the broccoli. You're welcome. I know a lot of people have been thanking me over Twitter and Instagram. People have been sending me messages saying, Jeremy, thank you. You got us the broccoli. You let Kendrick know we wanted it. He gave it to the people. So I just want to say you're welcome. You know, if I had any sort of impact, you're welcome. And if not, it's been fun. It's been a fun journey. And either way, we have the song. I do like it. I was very surprised. At the sample flip going all the way there. I thought maybe that it would have come back down and just had the more minimalist beat. But I love the song. But even better than the broccoli is GNX. We have a full-length Kendrick Lamar project. Whether it is a mixtape or album is hard to tell. I have been hearing a lot of rumors that there is more, whether that be a deluxe or a full album. It seems to be more for Kendrick in the works. And if you listen to our last episode of The Bigger Picture, DJ Head seemed to drop a couple of clues that there is more on the way, and that it will be West Coast sounding, that it will be very Bay Area influenced, very LA influenced, that same rhythm, that same BPM. What you heard on this project does not seem to be an anomaly, at least for the next little while for Kendrick. So he gave the people what they want. People wanted West Coast features. They wanted him to uplift artists like he did with the Pop Out. We had a lot of West Coast features, a lot of them unknown to the world as well. Some of them were bubbling here. Some of them were even more unknown, and he brought them onto a mainstream project. We had the West Coast sound that people wanted from him. We had the snippet that people wanted from him, although he did drop another snippet that we didn't get the full length of, and I say that he is now reincarnating snippets. So I'm gonna put in a request for the tiramisu snippet. We have had our veggies. Now we need our dessert, but let's not get greedy, okay? Let's finish our plate first, okay? But everything Kendrick, was requested from the people, he kind of gave with this album. So I am going to get into an overall review, but I did want to break down some things because there was a lot to unpack in this project, and we're going to go through all of the hidden meanings, all of the potential, shots, all of the disses, all of the things that may be overlooked, and you can let me know in the comments if there are any other theories or things that I missed that you'd like me to speak about. But let's get right into it. The album title, GNX, of course, is important. Kendrick does not do things just on a whim. He's very calculated, very thoughtful with what he does. Now, I'm not going to reach as far as to say that this was dropped on JFK's assassination date. I know I did see a theory out there. I personally don't believe that, but I do think that there's a lot when it comes to the title. So the GNX was created the same year that Kendrick was born, in 1987. There was only 547 of them created. They were made in only black, and if you watched our last episode, DJ had said it was also one of the only cars that could outrun a police car. So if it was a chase and there's a police car versus the Grand National was outdriving the police car. So there's a lot of sentimental value to it. Buick also has a lot of sentimental value to Kendrick. He said that his dad picked him up in a Buick Regal, the same year that he was born. On the way back from the hospital, he was in a Buick. So there's a lot of sentimental value to Kendrick. He posted on his Finsta, on his Jojo Ruski account, 3 days before Like That dropped. Like That dropped on March 22nd. On the 19th, Kendrick posted on his Instagram, and he said something to the effect of, anyone can get it. If you want to come at me, then line them up, and we'll tear them down. I'll put the exact quote. But Kendrick was basically preparing to say he's ready for everything that is about to transpire. And he did that using the GNX as a vehicle, as an actual vehicle to go into this next journey. So him getting this car, him putting the car on the cover was very sentimental. Also to note, there are pictures of Biggie, Jay, and Wayne on former album covers standing in front of a car in very similar manners, and I do believe this to be intentional. The way that Kendrick shot this album cover and the first track, Whacked Out Murals, which we're going to get into, I believe to be intentional on Kendrick's part to say that he is now standing in his GOAT era. He's trying to come for that top spot. He's been trying to come for that top spot for a long time. And I believe he's standing on that on this project, saying he is in the current spot. He is the number one guy all time. Forget the big three. He crushed the big three. So you let me know if you think in the comments that Kendrick is the GOAT currently all time. And if not, who do you have above him on that list and why? But let's get into Whacked Out Murals. There was a lot said on this song. A lot. On Whacked Out Murals, he starts the verse off by saying, yesterday, somebody whacked out my mural. That to me means that if we take him at his word, he wrote this on September 9th. On September 8th, his mural was actually defaced in LA. And this is a representation of even as much good as he has been doing for the community with the pop-out, what he's been doing for LA, even throughout this battle of representing Los Angeles, there is still always going to be someone who is going to try to tear you down and whack out your mural. And I think he had had enough. I think he was fed up. Not only with that, but with a lot of people and a lot of actions, okay? He literally says, F everybody, that's on my body. He said it used to be F that guy, but now it's plural. I don't take this to be a shot at anyone in particular, but I do take this entire first verse to be Kendrick stating that he is in the number one spot. He's the number one guy. He is the one rapper right now who is standing on the throne. He says that he is there. So anyone who's going to take offense, I believe, is only the people who are also thinking they're in that top spot. I think that could be Jay, Wayne, M, Nas. There's very few who are in competition with him and his legacy at this point. I think he destroyed the big three very clearly. J. Cole's reminiscing about his career right now. Drake is suing UMG. And Kendrick is rapping at the best level that he's rapped in his career. He is the guy when it comes to that big three. He said big me, he's standing on it. But once you push that big three conversation down, there's only a few people that could take any offense to what Kendrick is saying. And we saw one of them already take some offense, which let's get into right now. Quick pause from the video. This is me and Kit Cudi, just letting you know that broccoli shirts are now available. Woke up looking for the broccoli. Okay, it has the big broccoli on the front. It has woke up looking for the in a nice text on the side. We have black, we have gray, and we have white colors. This was heavily requested after I wore this shirt on the bigger picture. I don't make any money off these YouTube videos, so this is the easiest way to support me. But they will sell out quickly. Okay, so if you do want one, if you want to gift one to somebody for Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever you celebrate, link will be in the description. They're gonna go quick, so grab them right now. But thank you so much for the support and the love on this channel and my continued journey in the media space. I appreciate you guys, and let's get back to the video. So when it comes to Lil Wayne, the Lil Wayne lyric, I didn't take this to be a diss. Kendrick wasn't dissing Lil Wayne, but Kendrick was saying that he was disappointed in Lil Wayne, which is funny when it's like an idol of his and now he's expressing disappointment as if he's on top of Wayne in the game, you know? But maybe he's more so disappointed thinking that how much of an inspiration Wayne has been to him, that when you see a protege, when you see someone come up underneath you, pause, when you see someone maybe surpass you or get on your level, you'd imagine that they would pat you on the back and say, congratulations, welcome to the club. But it doesn't seem like Wayne reacted in that way. He said, used to bump the Carter 3, held my Rolly chain proud. Irony, I think my hard work let Lil Wayne down. Now, if you remember when Kendrick was coming up in LA under the name K-Dot, he had a mixtape C4 where he was literally rapping almost identical to Wayne's flows. He still had some Kendrick in him, you know, when it comes to the tones and the voice calculation and the different pitches in his vocals. But he was rapping a lot like Wayne. He was rapping over Wayne beats. He was clearly inspired by Lil Wayne. Then there's a point where on the Monster freestyle, which was over a decade ago. At this point, I think it was 15 years ago, where Kendrick had a similar sentiment to the Control verse, and he said, I'm the best rapper alive, I'm the best rapper alive, tell Wayne to swallow his pride. And obviously, he was being hyperbolic, he was being a little bit competitive and sarcastic in his tone. It wasn't seriously to be taken, but he may have manifested that years later, because Wayne was claiming the best rapper alive at that time, and now Kendrick is in the position where he's claiming the best rapper alive on Man in the Garden. And he got the Super Bowl, and he's Rapper of the Year for Apple Music, and he's getting all this praise. And Lil Wayne, of course, had right maybe to be upset by not getting the Super Bowl in his hometown of New Orleans. But he also didn't once congratulate Kendrick. And so I think it's okay for Kendrick to be disappointed. And not only that, there were rumors behind the scenes that maybe they were going to work together for the Super Bowl on something, whether that be Wayne coming out or a different event or whatever it may be. But then Wayne started getting on stages and on Instagram and acting extremely disappointed and kind of to some degree may have actually been disrespectful to Kendrick's pick. Now, of course, some of this could have been directed towards Jay-Z, which is a whole other story in itself. But when Wayne got on stage, he said, I worked my ass off to get this opportunity and it was ripped away from me. So Kendrick using the words, my hard work let Lil Wayne down, is no accident. It's also no accident that he used the words let down. Nas, the bar after, he said Nas was the only one that congratulated him. We all know that J. Cole was the initial one who let Nas down. He made a whole song about it. And so he's saying not only did J. Cole let Nas down, but Kendrick is the one who made Nas proud. And so there's a connection there. But the whatever, though, the bar after is, to me, where Kendrick really puffs his chest up and says, whatever, if my idols aren't going to support me, I'm still going for it. I'm still going to be the guy. Now, Wayne did reply on Twitter, man, what the F I do? I just be chilling and they still come for my head. Let's not take kindness for weakness. Let this giant sleep. I beg you all. No one really wants destruction. Not even me. But I shall destroy it if disturbed. On me, love. It's crazy to end that statement with love. I respect it. But he seemed to take this personally. He seemed to basically be saying that he took this as a shot. And the rumor is that Joe Budden said Wayne went to the studio. And I know that there has been talks of both sides trying to get in contact with each other behind the scenes that Kendrick didn't answer. Wayne went to the booth. This is for a different video, so I'll leave it here. But I will say I don't think that Lil Wayne wants any problems with Kendrick Lamar right now. There's a lot about Lil Wayne that no one's pieced together perfectly in the same way that Kendrick could do on a Euphoria. And if he does it, I don't think it looks good for Wayne. And I think Kendrick's rapping at an extremely high level, and I think he's still in the studio right now. And you don't want to mess with a rapper when they're in album mode or mixtape mode or studio mode, especially not when they're rapping like they're the best rapper alive and claiming it. So that's for another video. You let me know if you'd want to see that battle, if that will happen, and who you think would win. But next up, we have the Snoop bar, of course. Snoop posted Tailor Made. I prayed it was the edibles. I couldn't believe it was only right for me to let it go. Snoop posted Tailor Made on his story during the Drake battle, which, of course, used Snoop's voice as AI. It seemed to be a kind of a cosign of the move, whereas a lot of people in the West were disappointed and disrespected, quite frankly, that Drake used Tupac's vocals on the AI song. And it seemed to be Snoop kind of co-signing it or saying it was okay. Now, Snoop does post a lot on his Instagram, especially on his story. So Kendrick was kind of giving him the benefit of the doubt. Afterwards, Snoop did say that Kendrick is the king. When we were in the studio with him, he did say that Kendrick had taken the throne. And he tweeted basically saying that it was the edible. So I don't take this to be much more serious than just that and just kind of a little shot from Kendrick of like, I notice everybody. Same within the Broccoli music video, the Squabble Up music video. He paid homage to a lot of people who might have been, is it homage? Homage? You let me know. But he paid homage to a lot of people who might have been critical of him during the battle, specifically Questlove, kind of noting like, I see everything. And I don't take it personally. I'm going to keep it moving. I still respect what you guys have done, but I'm the guy right now and I'm here. Now, there's a lot on here that I believe to be related to J. Cole. Okay, there was some bars that I think could be shots towards J. Cole. J. Cole, of course, on Port Antonio said, my friends went to war. I walked away with all their blood on me. Kendrick said, more blood will be spilling. It's just paint to me. Basically saying, I see what you're saying here, but I don't agree with you choosing a side. And if you're on that side, there's more blood that will come at you. You chose your side. And there's other lyrics on Whacked Out Murals to back this up. He said, these dudes been fake loyal. Since y'all pandering to choose a side, let me do it for you. He also says, F anybody empathetic to the other side, I vow. A bitch dude, love bitch dudes. They exist with them in style. On Port Antonio, if you remember, J. Cole showed a lot of empathy, a lot of sympathy towards Drake. And Kendrick saying, I don't care about anybody playing the victim. If you want to play victim with them, then it's fuck you too. Okay, I don't think that there's any friendship between Cole and Kendrick moving forward. I think that him releasing on this day to step on Cole's Warm Up and Friday Night Lights release date was intentional as well. And I think it was intentional that he put out an album the same day as Ice Cube, who also said, I was Kendrick before Kendrick. I don't think Cube meant any disrespect by that either. But I think Kendrick is also saying, whoever you are, you had your moments. My moment is right now. dude's cackling about blank, right? He bleeps out the name. I believe this to be Diddy because he says, while all of y'all is on trial. Dudes thought that I was antisocial when I stayed inside of my house. You better off having one woman. Everything is tricky right now. I believe that Kendrick was basically saying, I know that you're looking at Diddy, but there's a lot more people that are on trial right now, especially in the music business. And I don't think that this is just rappers. I think this is people involved in labels. I think this is, politicians, company heads. But I think Kendrick is basically saying, be careful when you're throwing stones from a glass house, because if you are one of these people who is so associated with these parties or these nefarious activities, he's saying you're on trial too. He doesn't care who you are. He wants the party to die. Okay. He wants the industry to reset. And I think he's really on that type of timing. And he's saying everyone made fun of him for never leaving the house. Everyone made fun of Kendrick. Well, he never leaves out. He never comes outside. He doesn't do anything. He ducks off for 4 years in between albums. He's saying, listen, sometimes you just got to be with one woman, stay inside, and mind your peace. Because the industry that he hates, that he doesn't want to be a part of, has some crazy shit going on right now. And I think he's saying, you now see why I was the way I was. I also thought it was an interesting bar when he said on Hey Now, what the F you wearing, bro? It's tacky. Dudes laying on their deathbed trying to match me. Now, if you remember after the battle, there's a picture of Drake at Adonis's soccer game. And I don't know what kind of photographer he had pull up to his son's soccer game to take this model type picture of him, but he was wearing the same outfit that Kendrick had on Mr. Morale. And I do believe this to be a slight shot towards Drake, where he's basically saying, listen, you're trying to match me while you have bigger problems to worry about. I just murdered you in this battle. Worry about that and worry about some of your legal dealings and whatever else you got going on behind the scenes. Don't worry about trying to taunt me in these antics and trying to match me to seem cool. Like, this isn't the game you want to play. He also says on Whacked Out Murals, if you take it to the internet, I'm going to take it there. I think this is another threat towards Drake of like, listen, there's more that I have on you. The rabbit hole gets deeper, like he said on Not Like Us. If you want to go there, I'll go there with you, but just know it's not going to look good for you. So that's why I do think we have seen Drake quiet about Kendrick. We've obviously seen the lawsuit towards UMG, which was very clear that it was towards UMG and not Kendrick. I think Drake finally knows that this man is diabolical and he will stop at nothing to destroy you if you come towards him any further. Like, take 10 steps back. Even the bars about Bitcoin I thought were really interesting on Whacked Out Murals, where he said, dudes from my city couldn't entertain old boy promising bank transactions and even Bitcoin. I never pieced it up. That shit don't sit well with me. Before I take a truce, I'll take him to hell with me. If that money got in the hands of a crash dummy, could jeopardize my family and burden the ones who love me. Dude's mad because I decided not to pretend. Y'all stay politically correct. I'm going to do what I did. Ain't no sympathy here. That shit's hilarious. It's a lot of opinions, but no power to carry it. So on these bars, Kendrick is basically stating that there was money out in the streets, which he stated before on 616 in LA. There was money in the streets on his head to get information. It was fun till you had money in the streets and came back with no receipts, if you remember that bar. This is what he's referring to. But not only that, the rumor is that Drake had money out in Compton, in LA. Who can get me information about Kendrick? Now, Kendrick is saying, it was cool and this is a rap battle, but not only were you asking for information and didn't get anything about me, if that got into the wrong hands, if that money went to somebody who was willing to do whatever, or somebody who had no boundaries, or somebody who maybe even wasn't a fan of Kendrick or wasn't close to Kendrick in any way and was willing to do what it took for the money, that means he's putting his family in jeopardy. That means there's people close to him that could have been, who knows what it would have taken to get information out of somebody. A kidnapping, an extortion, whatever it means. He's basically saying this wasn't a joke. And so that's why he's not sympathetic to a J. Cole or people who are showing empathy towards Drake or acting like Drake is the victim somehow in this scenario, when it was really a rap battle until Drake took it there, until Whitney was mentioned on push-ups, until money was in the street for receipts to try to get something out of Kendrick. If you remember, Pusha T had the same thing where he said that, $500K in the street to get information on me and you come back with nothing. The same tactics that lost him the battle in the Pusha T battle lost him the battle in the Kendrick battle as well. He mentioned Virginia Williams, Pusha T's wife or fiance at the time, in that battle. And then Pusha took it there and it was too far. Or when Kendrick takes it to where he took it on Not Like Us, then it's too far and you want to sue for defamation. It's the same battle. It happened again. You know, he just didn't learn from his mistakes. Of course, there were also bars on Whacked Out Murals about Andrew Schulz and some of his co-hosts. Don't let no white comedian talk about no black woman, that's law. I know propaganda work for them, and F whoever that's close to them, slide on both of them. Now, Andrew Schulz had a viral moment where he was speaking on black women as a joke, and the people next to him were podcasters from the UK, two black men who were laughing about the joke, and he was basically saying, listen, there are certain things don't joke about when you're not a part of this. And not only is Schulz making that joke, but Schulz is also someone who's sponsored by Stake, which is a Drake's company, Drake's gambling company, which if you see that logo on a lot of things online, you'll know it's basically propaganda, paid for propaganda in my opinion. And so he's saying, you're making this joke, but not only that, I see you on the other side over there. Schulz was very confident in Drake at one point during this battle and very openly confident. And, you know, the people around him, he's basically calling out as well. Now, that could have been Charlemagne. That could have been Akash. That could have been Alex. You know, I'm a fan of all these people. I watch all these podcasts. I'm a Brilliant Indies fan. I'm a Charlemagne fan. I'm a Schulz fan. But I think it's pretty clear that these were shots towards those guys when it comes to not only that joke, but some things that have been said during this battle. There is a theory that some of these songs were Kendrick diss songs that were supposed to go towards Drake that he had prepared if it went there. If you remember 5+5, or how many stocks do I really have in stock? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5+5. That means there was 10 total. He had dropped 5. I believe some of these songs to have been other diss tracks that he maybe took some bars off of or switched up for this project, but had ready because he was in the mode, he was locked in, he had the pack from Mustard. I believe TV Off could have been one of those songs where he says, ain't no other king in this rap thing like siblings, nothing but my children, one shot, they disappearing. I believe that to mean when Like That came out, boom, that shot took out Kendrick. Boom, that shot by Kendrick took out Cole. It took out Drake. He's saying they're all disappearing. People are kind of running from him at this point. And he's saying he's the king. He's the guy. And everyone else might be siblings, as in J. Cole and Drake can go over there, be brothers, but he's really taking the throne when it comes to the big three. And when it comes to rap right now, I believe that Broccoli, Squabble Up could have been one of those shots that was, you know, amended. There was the bar about, you know, don't hit him, he's got kids with him. That could have been towards Drake. Yeah, I believe there to be shots there. I believe that maybe Hey Now had some shots in it. There were some songs on there that seemed like they could have fit for that. But I do think that a lot of them were asterisked and some bars were taken off and they were put on this project to fit the sound sonically, if that's the case. I don't necessarily have any information to back that up. That is just a theory of mine. I do want to mention Reincarnation because I think that that song is incredible. I think, of course, we have people who might fit when it comes to the verses where Kendrick's speaking of specific experiences that he might have experienced in a past life, or maybe that this is hyperbolic and he's kind of putting out, you know, scenarios of people or drawing a picture of people. You know, people had said Billie Holiday on Genius. There's other theories on Twitter. There's other theories of who the first verse is. I personally think the more important thing is he's, you know, channeling Tupac. He is channeling Tupac when it comes to the flow, when it comes to the sample. The album is channeling Tupac. Machiavelli, the 12 songs, the intros, the Me and My Girlfriend versus Gloria. There's all of these different tie-ins. And we know that Kendrick said he was going to send it up to Pac. We know he had a dream about Tupac where Tupac told him in the dream to keep the message of hip-hop alive. All of these things aren't coincidental. Kendrick is very in tune with Tupac's spirit, and I think that he channeled that spirit a lot on this project. But I do think on Reincarnated in particular, he was channeling and basically going through his past life regressions. Now, this is not the first time Kendrick has mentioned reincarnation. I did a whole video on it a few months ago, how Kendrick has mentioned reincarnation throughout his whole career, especially recently. If you look at some of the things he said on Mr. Morale, he said, I don't pass judgment, past life regressions keep me in question. He said, past life regressions to know my conditions. He said, I hope you find some peace of mind in this lifetime on the intro to Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Specifically, on verse 3 of the Heart Part 5, he says, celebrate new life when it comes back around. The purpose is in the lessons we learn in now. Sacrifice personal gain over everything just to see the next generation better than ours. I wasn't perfect. The skin I was in had truly suffered. Temptation, impatience, everything that the body nurtures. I think the past few years, Kendrick has really been grappling with past lives and with reincarnation. And I think he actually did go through past life regression therapy. I really do believe that. A past life regression is a method that uses hypnosis to recover what practitioners believe are memories of past lives or incarnations. When he says past life regressions to know my conditions, it's based off experience, karma for karma, my habits insensitive. So the idea that you have to learn lessons over the course of different lifetimes. And I think on that third verse, when he comes back and he says, I am now Kendrick Lamar, this is who I am in this lifetime. I think that this is either his last life in his belief or his highest incarnation so far, where he's learned from all of these experiences, learned from all these lessons. And the Bible passage that he references, Isaiah 14, has to do with the devil falling down from the heavens and him having this conversation where he's either embodying the devil when it comes to that verse, or showing the duality of man or his Gemini, or the two sides of God and the devil, and kind of grappling with his existence and his purpose on this earth, and having to battle all the temptations that he did in other past lives. And in this one, hopefully he got it right. And he's saying maybe he overcame some of those things, or generational traumas, or things that he had in past lives that he had to shed, and that hopefully he is the highest form or the highest light that he has been so far, whether that's his last or just his highest so far. I think Kendrick truly believes these things. I'm a big believer in reincarnation. You can let me know in the comments if you are. So I definitely connected heavily with what Kendrick is speaking about here. But I love that song. And then, of course, we had Gloria, which was a beautiful ode to Kendrick's pen and what he's been through. I thought it was really interesting on that song how he mentions a break in between going to Africa and creating To Pimp a Butterfly, and basically saying, he said that was 2014, and then there was a break. You know, there was some conflict. I believe that to be Kendrick saying there was some writer's block, not knowing if he wanted to take it to the next level when it comes to his faith, when it comes to God within his music, when it comes to, because if you remember on Damn, he spoke a lot about God, and there was some reincarnation stuff, but more Hebrew Israelite theories, and, you know, inheriting the earth, inheriting through ancestral trauma, breaking those cycles. I think Kendrick was maybe not in competition. I think Kendrick was in conflict when it comes to what he wanted his message to be and how he could take that message and make it mainstream. But then it seems like once he got through that writer's block and he was really at the forefront with his mainstream sound and his message on Damn, which is why it's my favorite project, he, you know, rekindled with the pen, so to say, when he started writing again. I thought that that was a beautiful ode to the creative process and you know, having the one thing that's always there for you being your creative outlet through good times and bad. So I love the project. Personally, right now, if I had to rank it, it's the most replayable Kendrick album. I've listened to it the most amount of times within a week since maybe Damn. So sonically, it might be my favorite project behind Damn, but I do love what Good Kid, what Section 80, what To Pimp a Butterfly, what they all offer. I even love the messaging behind Mr. Morale. So currently, I have it sitting about 3 or 4 for me, but I do believe that it could rise up to that second spot. I don't think anything will ever beat Damn for me, but let me know what ranks for you guys. I feel like I went longer than I thought I was going to in this video, but there's a lot to talk about when it comes to this album. So let me know if you want me to cover anything else. Our Kendrick review on the bigger picture is out now. I will link that below if you missed it. If you did, check it out. Thank you for watching. And thank you guys for all the new subscribers, if you are one. If you haven't subscribed and this just came up on your For You feed or your Explore page or whatever it is on YouTube where you just clicked on it, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and share this with a Kendrick fan that you think might enjoy it. So if nobody else has told you today, I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.